The snow was already knee-deep when they were ordered to remove their coats. Fingers numb, teeth chattering, their fouls pointed without mercy. One by one, trembling soldiers loosened buttons and belts, humiliation burning hotter than the cold, and standing just beyond the line. A single U.S. soldier watched it happen and felt a choice forming that would either save lives or end his own. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who's listening. The wind swept across the clearing like a blade, cutting through fabric, through skin, through resolve. The prisoners hung, exhausted, already broken by weeks of retreat, stood in a ragged line as snow soaked their boots and crept up their legs. Some stared at the ground, others looked straight ahead, refusing to beg. Breath rose in pale clouds, each exhale shorter than the last. Evan Hale stood with the patrol on the ridge above, his gloved hands clenched so tight his knuckles ached. He had seen cruelty before. War made sure of that. But this was different. This was deliberate, slow, designed to strip dignity before life itself. He told himself to breathe, to observe, to wait for orders. They didn't come. Below, a man collapsed to his knees, legs giving out as shock took hold. A murmur rippled through the captors, amusement, impatience. A boot shoved the man forward, forcing him back up. Evan felt something snap inside him. Memory surfaced uninvited. His sister, laughing in their backyard during the first snowfall of winter, red scarf flying as she spun. The snow had been harmless then, gentle. This snow was a weapon. Evan's commander whispered into the radio, voice tight. "We're outnumbered. Intervene. We lose everyone." Evan nodded because that was what soldiers did. But his eyes never left the line below. Watched the prisoners' shoulders shake, their skin blotching white and blue. He watched time stretch, each second a quiet execution. He thought of the rules. He thought of the oath. He thought of the thin line between obedience and complicity. She thought she'd never see her brother again. She was wrong. The thought hit him like a blow. He didn't know which prisoner had a sister waiting at home, or a child, or no one at all. He only knew that if he did nothing, this moment would follow him forever. Evan slid his rifle from his shoulder. The sound was small, metal against fabric, but it carried. A fellow soldier glanced at him, eyes wide. "Evan, cover me," he said, quietly. Not a command. Request. A promise. He rose from the ridge and walked downhill. Every step felt unreal, like moving through a dream where gravity didn't quite work. Snow crunched beneath his boots, loud as thunder in his ears. The captors turned, startled, weapons lifting. Someone shouted. Someone laughed, assuming this was a bluff. Innes stopped 10 yards from the line. "Enough," he said. His voice didn't shake. That surprised him. The air felt frozen in more ways than one. Snowflakes drifted lazily between raised rifles. The prisoners looked up, disbelief flickering across hollow faces. One man clutched his bare arms to his chest, eyes wide, lips trembling. "You step back," Evan said, eyes locked on the officer in charge. "They're done," the officer sneered. Said something Evan didn't understand, but cruelty didn't need translation. He raised his hand. Evan made his choice. The first shot shattered the silence. It's not at a man, but at the ground, inches from the officer's boot. Snow exploded upward. The message landed before the bullet ever could. Behind Evan, his unit moved as one. Rifles snapped up, boots advanced, a tide. The captors hesitated. Just long enough. What followed wasn't chaos, it was precision. Commands barked in tight bursts. Movements clean and practiced. Evan felt the world narrow to action and instinct as his team fanned out. Weapons steady, bodies aligned. The captors backed away, then dropped their rifles one by one, hands raised, bravado evaporating in the cold. The prisoners sagged with relief, some sinking into the snow, others crying openly now that they could. A Marine shrugged off his own coat and draped it over a shaking man's shoulders. Another knelt, rubbing life back into frozen hands. Evan moved among them, offering gloves, pulling people to their feet, murmuring reassurances he wasn't sure they could hear. When it was over, the clearing felt impossibly quiet. Snow fell softly, as if trying to cover what had almost happened. Later, As they escorted the rescued soldiers to warmth and safety, doubt finally found Evan. He imagined the reports, the consequences. The question that would come, why did you disobey orders? He didn't have a polished answer, only the truth, because some orders asked too much. Command didn't speak for a long time when the report came in. When they did, their voices were measured. Careful, there would be reviews. There always were. Evan braced himself. But that night, as the rescued soldiers huddled around heaters, wrapped in borrowed blankets, one of them found Evan, older than most, face lined by cold and fear. He stood straighter than his body wanted to and extended a hand. "You saw us," he said simply. When it mattered, Evan took the hand, felt the weight of it settle, not as burden, but as certainty. Because courage doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. Years later, Evan would still remember the sound of snow under his boots, the way the world held its breath in that clearing. He would remember how close cruelty came to winning, and how fragile the line was between silence and action. And he would remember this most of all. In the coldest moments, it isn't fire that saves us, but the warmth of choosing one another. If this story stayed with you, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more human stories of courage, conscience, and compassion. Here on Whispered Words, we believe the bravest acts are often the quietest ones, and they always matter.